Page Panel Frame coming at you
Live.
semi-live.
Today we're reviewing everywhere,
Everything,
everywhere, all the time,
all at once,
all at once,
all the time,
everything, everywhere, all at once.
all at once.
And what a ride this movie is.
Yeah, what a ride.
Yeah. For those of you that haven't seen it, this is gonna be a spoiler talk.
Mm-hmm.
So just some quick things. See this movie. Pay money to see it in the theaters, because a movie like this, it deserves to reap the benefits, reap the rewards. If this movie makes a lot of money, then we're going to be seeing more movies like this, and that's what we want. Also, this is a very artsy movie, and I would recommend not watching trailers going into this movie and not really looking anything up.
Yeah.
Because at the start of this movie, there's a big plot device used throughout the movie, and it's not explained to you. And I think that's one thing it does really well, because I was so confused at the start, and then there was a moment where it clicked. And that click, I think that added so much to my enjoyment.
Yeah, I was confused kind of the whole way through, and I'm still not sure if I really understood everything that was going on, but
yeah,
it's a trippy experience.
Yeah. And this may be like a wild claim, but I think this is in my top 3 movies of all time.
Of all time? I can tell you're excited, dude.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I saw this movie twice in theaters.
Yeah.
And I don't do that often. And that's like 2 times within opening week or second weekend since it's opened.
Yeah, you saw it today.
Yeah.
I saw it a few hours ago.
Yeah, right before.
Fresh.
I'm dedicated.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to get into spoilers. So, see this movie.
Yeah.
We have a Chinese family. They own a laundromat. We have the mom, Evelyn, the dad, Waymond, and then the daughter, Joy, right?
Mm-hmm. It's Joy.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this movie, it's basically about this struggling family, and they're going to meet with their auditor, because they're about to get audited.
By the IRS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you could tell there's a lot of trouble in this family. Like, the daughter is lesbian, and the mom doesn't want to acknowledge it. The grandfather has no idea of this. The daughter really wants him to know, because I don't know. I think it's just for her just for her peace of mind to just get it out there,
and have
proclaim
her grandpa
it.
Accept her.
Once they get to this IRS building,
things start going crazy.
Yeah, we get into the big plot device, which is this headset that Evelyn invented in another dimension, the Alphaverse.
Mm-hmm.
And this headset allows you to bounce into, or depending on what action you perform, you can use that device to think of which version of yourself is most likely to perform that action, and then you can split reality and basically have access to those 2 realities. I don't know if I way overcomplicated that.
Well, essentially, we get introduced to these people. They're going to the IRS to get audited. On the way to the IRS, this Evelyn, the mom, goes through a trippy experience with a headphone set, for a phone. She puts it on and she's transported into another universe, sort of like a multiverse, if you will.
Yeah, and she gets killed.
In the multiverse.
She gets killed. And this is kind of leading up to that click I had, because so we're introduced to this headset. Her husband is randomly a kung fu master. They both get killed, and you're thinking what the hell does this device do?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, is this the Terminator? He's trying to protect her. He's this all-knowing being.
Like that.
Yeah, I compared this to the Terminator at first, and
it's more Matrix-like.
Yeah,
where they upload, download, so the guy, the husband, he's in another universe.
Yeah,
kind of like Matrix, where he's sitting plugged into a computer. He's got the headset on, and he's kind of plugging in and out of Evelyn's world. Yeah. So it's like Matrix.
And then where this click happened, where I finally kind of understood what was going on, is when the auditor, Deirdre.
Beerbra.
So the auditor, Deirdre, she's trying to kill Evelyn because she's from that other dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going for this flying knee down a bunch of stairs. And then Claire de Lune starts playing in the background. And it's going in slow motion. And then Evelyn professes her love, and she clicks the button. And then you see her hop into this alternate reality where she doesn't marry Raymond. She instead gets like found on the street. There's some cheesy like kung fu scene where a lady saves her, and then she practices kung fu and she becomes a kung fu master on the spot.
Why does she profess her love? What is that? What's the significance of that?
Well,
It's what the other person in that other dimension is doing.
or it's what it's so she professes her love, and that's an action that's most likely to happen by her kung fu master counterpart.
I'm going to disagree. I thought it's what's going on in that other universe, and so
No.
you saying the same words connects the two universes.
No, because think about when Raymond first transforms. What does he do? He eats a like whole
A
chapstick.
chapstick, yeah.
I don't think himself in another universe is eating a whole chapstick. I'm pretty sure it's what is like which version of yourself is most likely to do that.
Why would that version of him eat a chapstick, though? The normal one.
See, that's the thing that had me. That's like one of the potential flaws to this.
I thought it was more like the Inception with the spinner, where it's just like the thing that grounds you. It's like the thing that's like so out of the ordinary, where she's professing her love while this girl's coming down with a flying knee. He's eating chapstick. That it's so bizarre that it kind of like loses reality in a way.
See, I think it's trying to find the most bizarre thing. You want to find the most bizarre thing because I think professing her love to Deirdre.
Daedra.
Daedra. That's such a random thing, and it's able to pinpoint one reality where she might do that. And I think that's what kicks it into that reality.
Okay.
And yeah, it's so when that scene happens, and then she just swats the knee away, and this music is playing. I think it's just beautiful. That's one of the scenes that if I have this movie like on a streaming service or something, I would rewatch that scene over and over. Yeah.
I saw the VFX behind the scenes of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What do they go over?
That's all practical. It's with wire stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So essentially, Evelyn's running away in the multiverse from Daedra trying to kill her, but it's really this dark force behind all this. There's so much going on.
Yeah. So there's this dark force. It's like Chupapi Munyonyo. That's the name of it.
Yeah.
It's some weird name, but it's
essentially nihilism. It's nihilism incarnate. Nihilism meaning that like nothing matters.
Yeah. Yeah, and so what this Chupapi Munyonyo thing is it's her daughter. And because Evelyn was performing experiments on Joy, and she basically had her enter too many realities at the same time.
In the multiverse.
Yeah,
Not
in the multiverse.
Not in the movie. Not in the universe that the movie.
Yeah,
taking
in the
place
Alphaverse.
Yeah.
Where this device was first created, and so Joy, she gets to this point where she's almost like a god. She's intertwined with every single reality of herself, and she can access any of those realities, and it's this idea that she can live any life she wants. She can die. She'll have another life. She can mess up. She has another life. She can do whatever she wants.
Everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, and this is what haunts her. She deduces, she creates this everything bagel that has everything on it, and after seeing,
it's like a black hole.
Yeah, yeah. So I think creating this everything bagel is kind of trying to show that she has seen everything. She has done everything, and from doing everything, she deduces that life has no meaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she's done everything, and so if everything...
she could mess up, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
You have another life. You have another life. Like, nothing matters. And so, we're then told... we're under the impression that she wants to kill Evelyn this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Her mom.
Yeah. And that's actually what she's doing. She's killing Evelyn in thousands of universes, that Alpha Raymond says.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the purpose of this is she knows that Evelyn is the one that created this device. She knows that Evelyn is kind of the reason she's feeling like lost inside.
Yeah.
So I think she thinks if she can stop this future from happening, then she'll get her life back.
I think she's more revengeful. She's just vengeful that Evelyn performed all these experiments on her.
Yeah, see, it could be that, but then she does come into contact with the Evelyn that everybody believes is the one that can
the
can
most normal
yeah.
Evelyn, the
Yeah,
one
she,
that owns
yeah.
a laundromat.
Yeah, she hasn't accomplished anything, so therefore she can accomplish anything. And then once this Joy Chupaki Munyonyu finds Evelyn, she she changes her entire goal. Her goal is now no longer to, I guess, like kill her. She wants to show Evelyn what she sees. She wants her to experience this nothing matters perspective and see if she agrees. And so eventually she gets Evelyn. I think it's she kills. Yeah, she. So the Evelyn in the world that we see her in at the start dies, and so Evelyn is searching for this life that she's known for so long, and then she eventually just comes into contact with Joy again, and then that's when she sees the bagel, and she has that same perception.
At first, she does.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain this all because I feel like I'm gonna be running through the story.
Like, it's just a complex movie.
Yeah. But then again, I feel like I understood it pretty well with one viewing. But yeah, so let's continue. So, Evelyn now thinks that nothing matters. She ends up stabbing her husband because like nothing matters. She ends up breaking a window because nothing matters. And then you have what I think is one of the best scenes in the movie, where it goes through all the different realities until we see two rocks, two boulders. Mm-hmm. No words are exchanged, and they kind of just explain what they're feeling. Nothing matters. Like
the rocks are Joy and Evelyn.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're saying, what if like another device comes out and we feel like even smaller pieces of shit? So they're both basically, well, Joy is done with life. She wants to enter this black hole, and she's trying to convince Evelyn to do the same. And Evelyn is on board. And then when she kind of like loses all shit, she kind of like, it's like her last bastion. She signs the divorce papers with her husband. She breaks everything. Doesn't give all the receipts to the auditor when it's due. She basically screws her whole life over because it doesn't matter. But then her husband gets her out of it, and he gets her an extra week to deliver those receipts. And it's at that moment that she realizes that, I think she realizes two things. I think she realizes the meaning of life is love, because love is all powerful. Also, you notice that her husband is there all the time. Even when she becomes rich and successful, he still shows up. So he's always prevalent in her life. The other thing I think she realizes, so Joy's I think her big argument is that nothing's like original. Like, you know everything that's going to happen. But here we have Evelyn shocked and surprised by just a small mundane thing that she would have never expected her husband to do. So she's like, even though she thinks she's seen everything, she's still able to be surprised by like a small thing. And so that doesn't quite completely turn her train of thought. But then she sees her husband through every single life. It all flashes. We get a lot of scenes like this where every single version of the life flashes. For Evelyn, like we see that, like how many different lives she lives. For her husband. And then that's when she comes to the conclusion that like her husband is the one that's giving her life meaning. Yeah.
This whole movie is nihilism wrapped into a package, presented in a complex manner to an audience that will probably relate to, like Nothing Matters, because it is geared towards like a younger audience, which Joy is young. She's like a millennial or a Gen Z, and she just thinks like nothing matters. And Evelyn, I think, has been missing the point of life.
Yeah.
Because she's so worried about what her dad thinks of her, or what other people think of her, or what she's going to accomplish, which a lot of us want to satisfy that craving of being known or accomplishing something. Yeah. But Raymond
he has a different perspective on life. Yeah. Because I also want to go back, when Evelyn first enters the auditing room, it's like her mind is constantly racing. She always needs to do like this. And then we later on into the movie, we get into Raymond's whole his whole mantra, his way of solving his problems. And he doesn't do this by fighting. He says, Evelyn, you're a fighter, but I like to do things or I have like a strategic way where I'll try to
he fights with kindness.
And then at the end of the movie, we get this, what I think is like one of the best final scenes, when Evelyn decides to do that.
I know, that's kind of a comedic scene where she's making all these people's wishes and dreams come true.
Yeah.
Walking up the stairs, they're like trying to kill her, and she's like touching them.
Yeah.
And like all these people's wishes are getting fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a great example of like a filmmaker expressing an emotion or capturing a moment of storytelling in one complicated idea. It's like one big painting.
Yeah.
The painting was very complicated.
Yeah. See, I think it's an art piece. It's an abstract art piece, and so I think we should unpack up until that final like arc where she's going up the stairs, because I think I have a lot of things to say at that point, but I guess let's talk about the humor a bit, because this movie is hilarious.
It's pretty funny.
This movie is hilarious. You have guys jumping on dildos, basically trophies. You got guys getting choked, like a gimp or something. But yeah.
Why do you know the word for that?
I watched Pulp Fiction. I've seen that scene in the basement. But here.
It's funny. It's got like Gen Z humor. It's very like
yeah. Also, the daughter beats up a security guard with 2 dildos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
It's not afraid to have fun.
Yeah.
It's very masterfully shot.
Yeah.
The cinematography, this was a 4-man VFX team with a $25 million budget, and they did this stuff at their house.
That's
all
crazy.
The VFX was done at their house on a MacBook,
this
or
is
like a Mac Studio.
No way.
Yeah.
That
4 people.
Yeah. This is such a like.
It's a passion project like no other. It's incredibly well executed. The visual effects look like they're done by like
it's so imaginative, like.
Yeah. And like if you told me it's $100 million budget, I'd be like, okay, I get it. I see where that went.
Yeah, one of the things I think this like it's able to have people with hot dog fingers, people as piñatas, people as rocks, not saying a word, and it all works. It all works for me.
There's no fat. There's no fat to trim off this movie. Everything has to be there.
Yeah, so how you're saying it has no fat. So my first time watching it, it wasn't until like I thought about it for like many days, but I thought, you know what, actually I can see a lot of flaws with this. Like, you have this device that sends you into alternate realities, and I think that already, like, it lends itself to having plot holes. Like, for example, so the daughter is able to rearrange atoms when she has all these different versions of herself. The mom is able to rearrange atoms, literally turn anything they want into anything, and it's like so unbelievable. Yeah, you're basically told that this is just her worst version. This is the universe that I guess is going to turn into the Alphaverse. It's the one that's most likely to do that. And then the whole way the device works, you'd perform an action, and then that somehow spirals you into the right universe. And then there's a point where Evelyn is performing these actions without hearing from an earpiece which action she's supposed to perform, and she gets these talents. Like, she gets lucky enough to get the talents that she needs, even though majority of the worlds don't have human life in them. So I think it's like there's a lot of nitpicks you can do, but then the thing that kind of like made me think, okay, a lot of it doesn't make sense, but none of that is a problem, is I thought about the bagel. Like, I had no issues with it, but it's a bagel with everything on it. With everything on it. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not supposed to take this at face value. This is very metaphorical. Like we said before, this is an art piece. Like, so, and usually, if I see a flaw like that, it will bother me, like something that doesn't make sense. But here, you can suspend disbelief, and it works. I think it like lends itself to suspend disbelief because it's all abstract.
Yeah. And here is where I think you and I have differing opinions about the movie. I think you really like the movie, and I think like you said it yourself in your top 3.
Yeah.
I think it was just a good movie. It's not in my top 3, not in my top 5, not even in my top 10. It's a great art piece, great abstract. It conveys a great strong message that like love is the answer. It's not that nothing matters. What matters is love. Like that's the answer, and it does that in a very complicated 2.5 hours of showing you great visceral visuals that make you feel stuff. But that's it. Like when I think of good movie, I think of like Good Will Hunting, where it really like throws you in the story, or like I don't know, like Shawshank Redemption, where you're like, wow, like this character's going through something that I could go through. There's no way we could go through stuff that happens in this movie.
Okay.
Like, you know, it's just a beautiful painting.
But see, I can see a lot of people having that argument, and now I want to tell you where I differ on that. I think it's that ending scene where she is fighting like her husband. I think the big thing that this movie is trying to do is it's trying to say that love is the meaning of life. And that is so cliche. Every movie has done that, but it never comes across as powerful as this one.
I disagree.
And let me continue.
I disagree.
Okay, I want to talk about, because so she ends up getting up these stairs and she gets to her daughter. And I think we get the strongest emotional scene of almost any movie I've ever seen.
I disagree.
Because listen, so we have
I'm listening.
Okay, so we're going from her daughter trying to commit suicide in a black hole. Her life is meaningless, and we intertwine that with a basic scene of a mother talking to her daughter in a parking lot. And it's, even though it's a basic scene of a mother talking to her daughter in a parking lot, trying to convince her that there is a meaning to life, the stakes are so high. Because even though at face value that's what's going on in that universe, we know that in this other universe her daughter is on the brink of killing herself. And I think that's what makes it so strong. It's not just the conversation, like this is happening real time, you know?
She's literally standing in front of a bagel.
Yeah.
Dressed in like if Andy Warhol puked on her face, that's the kind of dress she has. Where she's got like lipstick on her face and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have like and like in the other universe, Evelyn, her mom, and Joy, the daughter, are having like a heart-to-heart in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Which was, to me, the cheesiest, corniest part of the movie, because it was such a cop-out. Like, you knew they were going to throw that in there. Like, Joy, it's not anything that... It's like, it's us that matters all along. Like, you are enough.
No, but see...
It's corny. Like, they threw it in your face. It was just... they had to say it.
Okay, that's where I disagree. Because, see, I think other movies doing it is corny. I think this one warrants it, because... You have the scenes leading up. You have
it forcefully warrants it because of what's going on in the movie. It's not something that you could see naturally happening. I could not relate to that at all because it was so in your face and it's so like slapstick.
But it comes right after the conversation between Evelyn and her father, where she finally introduces Joy's girlfriend as a girlfriend.
Okay, yes. On paper, what you're saying, I know what you're saying. On paper, this is a good scene.
Yeah.
But to me, it didn't make me feel anything. Not the way that Good Will Hunting or Shawshank Redemption or Forrest Gump even. It's not about what you're seeing. It's about what you're feeling.
Okay, I think it's the culmination of... It's not just what we're seeing. It's the lines you hear. I think leading up to those stairs, you have her interaction with Deidre, where Deidre thinks that nobody can love her. And there is an alternate reality where Evelyn loves her.
Yeah, they're lovers.
Like, she says, you're not unlovable. And I think that's where these side characters do really well. There was a point in this movie where I thought, like, oh, they have these side characters, and I don't really feel anything for them, but I think it propels this message. I think one of the strongest scenes that probably not a lot of people will think about is the scene with Rakakuni. Because, so Evelyn basically, like, shows the entire hibachi grill that this dude is a fraud. He's using Rakakuni. And then, as she's going up the stairs, you see the scene where he's crying to her and he's saying, I'm useless alone. And then Evelyn says, we're all useless alone. And I think that's a very powerful statement that not many movies can make. And it's like I don't know, I think you're having all these different scenes add on to each other, pile on, so that even though at face value that scene in the parking lot might seem corny, I think with all those different scenes added onto that, it makes sense. At least for me, it did.
You know what?
And
If that's what you got out of it,
yeah,
and like if that's the message you got out of it, like that's a great message. And
yeah,
I'm not going to disagree with that message because it's a great message.
yeah.
And like if this movie conveyed that to you, like that's great.
And so one more thing I actually want to say, because I feel like the first time I would understand you more the first time I watched it, and that's because I was thinking really hard about like what's going on in this movie, what's going on. The second time, I feel like I had a very good understanding of what was going on, and I took in all those emotional scenes, and honestly, like I started crying, or well, like I was like tearing up the entire ending. Like, it just hit me so hard. Like, the mom telling her dad that she can't let go like he did, and then that goes right into the mom introducing Joy's girlfriend to the dad, saying like talking about her relationship with her husband. And then that leads into the mom. Then her dad lets go of her. The mom grabs Joyce, and then her dad, who is like, he doesn't really show his emotion at all. He's helping her mom pull Joy back, and then her husband Raymond is also helping pull back. So it's that whole family dynamic just pulling back. Like, I think it really like sends home the message that like it's like family is what matters. It's love that matters. Like. And like I said, like that message would be cheesy for me in any other movie, I feel like, but it's this artistic approach, like all these scenes piled onto each other, that it works for me.
You know what? Yeah, like if it works for you,
Yeah.
then I'm sure it works for many other people, and
Yeah.
that's a great message. Like if this is just a way to relay that love is the answer, then I can't knock that.
Yeah.
That's a great message.
Yeah.
You know what I think is just like kind of noticing how our perspectives differ on certain movies.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that like you're more of like it has to be an original, it has to be like a unique way of telling a new message that you haven't seen or experienced before. Whereas for me, it's got to be something I really relate to.
Yeah.
So if it's not original, like I don't care if it's original or not. Like if it's done well where I can relate to it, I will think it's good. Whereas you think, or maybe
I don't think it has to be original, but I respect the originality,
the artistic or the creative or the innovative.
Yeah, especially with like a movie like this. Like I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
and I had no clue what I was going into.
It's a trip. It's A24, so
Yeah.
you know they're always bringing bangers.
Yeah.
It is a trip. It's like 2 hours of just doing acid. Like seriously, it's. Yeah, you have not seen a movie like this.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, I kind of want to touch on the rock scene again.
Okay.
Because I think, like, for me, that was one of the most powerful scenes, and it's so simple.
That's the third most powerful scene.
It's two rocks just with text on the screen. And, you know, the first time the rocks are there, they're kind of just, they're in agreement that nothing matters. And then we see the rocks again when she's trying to save Joy. So much emotion was portrayed by these rocks too. Like when Joy releases herself into the canyon. And I think it almost feels like seeing that is what made Evelyn want to talk to her in that parking lot. You see this rock tumbling down a huge canyon. And the other rock is watching with googly eyes, just watching.
The death of the rock.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing we should talk about that I forgot to mention is the googly eyes.
Okay.
So the googly eyes kind of represent Evelyn's husband, Raymond.
Yeah.
So from the start of the movie, we're first introduced like the out of order laundry machine has googly eyes on it. The laundry bag for the customer has googly eyes on it. So we know Raymond, he puts these googly eyes everywhere. And then we hear his like message that he fights with kindness. And then it's when Evelyn says that she wants to fight with kindness too. That's when she shoots out a bunch of googly eyes and she puts one on her forehead. It's like that's her third eye. She has seen like this is the way. She's basically, once she puts that googly eye on her forehead, she's kind of like cemented that I found the like purpose in my life.
She's essentially the Gandhi of kindness. She's
her. I think she's like cemented that she's found her purpose in life. Like,
Okay, but then what? The movie ends, and what? What happens after the movie ends? Like, how are they going to continue living a life?
Um,
Because, like, now they're what? What about the older universes? Like, what happens? What happens to the everything bagel? There's like once the screen goes black, like we're led to believe these people carry on their lives.
well, I think the point, or so her conversation with Joy in the parking lot, it's like she's saying she could be anywhere else, but she decides to be here because she has a love for this family, and so I think they're okay living, even if it's a mundane life. They're okay with it. They're content with it because they get to spend it with each other. So it's
so
no
what?
longer
No more universes. No more jumping.
maybe those. I think they have. So they still have the ability to jump between universes, but they could still like kind of block it out if they want to. Like when she's first introduced to her kung fu reality, where she's a movie star, Evelyn. She kind of keeps jumping back into this universe, and then Alpha Raymond says, "Oh, you have to learn to like keep that inside. Like you can't be jumping back into it." So I think it's like they learn to be content with this life. Like yes, all those opportunities are out there, all those better lives are out there, but they're just gonna live this one. I think that's like kind of how the movie wanted to end on.
Yeah. What about the Joy that's trying to kill everybody?
The Joy. Well, that Joy is just that's Joy herself.
No, it's not.
No. Okay, that's the Joy from the Alphaverse,
Right.
and she can
there?
travel between any body.
Yeah. What happened to her?
Maybe she's gonna decide to live one of the mundane lives. I guess maybe she'll decide to be I don't know. I guess that's like it's open to interpretation though. So
I just don't. Yeah. It's open to interpretation, but it doesn't point you in any direction.
I think it leaves you with the answer that it's okay to have a mundane life, like it, or to find joy in like the small things, like find joy in love. I think that joy is gonna probably be living in a universe where she has her girlfriend involved in it, because she's like come to the understanding that this is true. Like this is like I agree with you, mom. You know.
What happens to the everything bagel?
The everything bagel, that's just gonna exist. It's gonna be there. And so another thing that everything bagel symbolizes is suicide.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Or well, so yeah, because so you have Joy, she's like completely broken when she shows this bagel. She's like, "Mom, I thought you were gonna have a different approach to life, but you're in agreement with me. So let's just go into this bagel together. Let's." And she says like going into the bagel, it's leaving life. It's leaving this universe. It's leaving whatever universes exist here. It's basically killing yourself, getting rid of this feeling that everything is like pointless.
I think it's a good movie. I think it's a great movie. I don't think it's the best movie.
I guess, do you have any other critiques besides like you thought the ending was corny, or that like scene where they had that conversation? Is there anything else that like kind of like stuck out? Because I feel like with this movie, like I don't know, I want to convince that I'm right, but I would want to hear your takes and like see if I can respond to it. See maybe if other people have like similar thoughts.
I literally just didn't do what it did for you for me. Like I don't think there's any right or wrong argument. It's really just a feeling, and like if it conveyed that feeling in you, you're not wrong for feeling that way.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I feel like it really resonated with me, like because I could tell just like based on the way I felt after first watching it, like I knew this was like something special.
It is something special. Like there's no argument. It's something special.
Yeah.
How special it is, definitely not as special as me, but
but you guys should check it out. See if it does the same thing that it did for me for you, because like I'm telling you, I don't think I've never had a theater experience like this, and I don't know, it's still early, but I'd say like top 3 for me. So I'm obviously gonna give it 10 out of 10.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give it like a 6.
Yeah, I'm a very harsh grader.
Turning Red was better than this movie.
You want to get a rating?
I'm gonna give it like an 8.5.
Okay.
8.5. It's a great movie. If you like movies, if you like experiences, you'll like this movie. You'll like it. It'll make you think. It'll leave you with your head turning sometimes.
It's unique.
It's unique.
So you've never seen anything like this.
Masterful directing. I mean, just like I cannot give enough credit.
Yeah.
to the cinematography,
That
to
is
the
true.
artist.
Because there's so many moving parts that, like,
Yeah.
to put that all into, like, a concise story.
Yeah, and $25 million
Yeah.
to pay for this thing, and it looks like it was made by Marvel. Like,
Yeah.
some of the VFX are just insane. 4 people worked on it. Like, that is amazing. I definitely will be, like, contender for Oscar, I think.
I think this could win Best Picture, honestly.
I think so too. Like, just how much is going on.
Yeah. Actually, upon second viewing, there was one thing that really surprised me that I didn't notice the first time around. So we're jumping in between all these universes, and it seems like the movie is, like, going everywhere. But in reality, this whole movie is taking place in the audit building. I don't know if you caught that, but it's just a one location movie, basically. It's the audit building, and then some scenes in the laundromat. But as soon as they enter the audit building, it's basically there for the entirety of the movie. And I think that's just like another feat to add on to it, that they're able to keep it. I guess that kind of adds up to why it's kind of cheaper, maybe a cheaper budget. But then you do have all these visual effects, like.
Well, they have, like, the outside. Well, in the other universes, it doesn't take place in the audit building.
Yeah, but the other universes, I don't think it's like moving around too much. Like,
Yeah.
or I guess it's in a house. That's what the hot dog fingers, like, playing piano.
Then the famous one where she's in, like, an opera building or whatever that is.
Yeah, but it doesn't take place in, like, too many locations.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it makes you feel like it does.
Yeah. And that's, like, when I saw it the second time, I'm like, wait, we're still in the audit building? Like, I did not remember that from the first time around. So
Yeah.
I think that's just a cool fun fact to pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
So let us know what you guys thought.
Yeah.
If you have any discussion, like, points, bring in the comments. Like, I'd be open to talking about this, see if other people want to.
Yeah.
I'm mostly just looking for friends, but.
Yeah. Honestly, like, what do you, like, yeah, like, what are you, like, what do you guys actually think? Like, are you more in the Daniel camp where this is just, like, revolutionary and, like, made you think and feel something you haven't thought or felt before? Or do you kind of fall in my camp where, like, you think it was great, it's a great movie, it wasn't that extra thing for you? And like, what would you think if you're in my camp? What is that extra thing for you? What is that extra movie?
Yeah, what would make it that? I guess, like.
Yeah, and if you're in Daniel's camp, like, what are you seeing, and what is Daniel seeing that I'm not seeing? Maybe I just need a second viewing. I don't know.
Yeah, or did you pick up on something that we missed?
Yeah,
that's another thing, because I'm sure I missed something. Even though I feel like I have a good grasp of it, there's so much going on that I could have easily missed something. Yeah,
and like. Have you subscribed to our OnlyFans?
Yeah.
There was a lot of OnlyFans innuendos in this.
Yeah.
Like there was like a donate button in the movie.
Yeah, also, I think we mentioned the dildos. You're not gonna... I mean, those... I can't compete with that, but...
The butt plugs?
That too.
Those butt plugs.
Okay. This is not a good movie to watch going into our OnlyFans, because you're gonna be left...
You're gonna be sorely disappointed.
Yeah. Expectations are set way too high in this film.
Unless
if you want to experiment. Okay.
Alrighty. So yeah, it's
awkward pause.
Rapidly moving on.
Yeah.
You gotta find that clip.
Yeah.
The rapidly moving on clip.
Yeah. Stick it in there.
Yeah. Dude, you know I say that sometimes when there's like awkward. Yeah, I'm rapidly moving on.
Like in regular conversation.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
do. That stuck with me.
Yeah, that's a hilarious scene.
I know.
That whole comedian act was so funny.
Toilet.
All those guys with big muscles in the audience. You know, those big muscles makes it very hard to use a toilet.
I gotta find that comedian.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, Gaktis Gandis. That's his name. Gaktis Gandis.
Oh my gosh, Gaktis Gandis.
Okay. Is there... donate, subscribe, like,
share.
Yeah.
Free. I was gonna say free Palestine.
No.
Free Daniel. He's gonna get locked up soon.
For what?
I don't know. But yeah, he's gonna Daniel's got to make bail. Daniel's got to make bail.
I got some audits.
Yeah. We got to donate to Daniel's fund.
Yeah, help me pay my audits, please.
Daniel's going to make an everything bagel. That's why he's going to get locked up.
If you donate, I will make an everything bagel and hand deliver it. Well, no. You have a chance at winning an everything bagel made by me.
You have a chance.
Yeah.
One lucky subscriber. We're going to pick.
But it's only me and you subscribe. And maybe 2 other people.
Alrighty.
Signing off.